Good morning, this is Lee with the Right Overnight News, with the top stories I picked today for a conservative's early morning update. Today is January 21st, 2022. Kamala Harris was on the Today Show and Samantha Guthrie didn't let her weasel away with pre-scripted talking points about Joe Biden press conference the night before. And of course Vice President did not handle it very well, stumbling a few times, and even berating Guthrie to let her finish her statement a few times. Town Hall has a good review with the video. Powerline blog writes about how energy is so crucial to negotiations with Vladimir Putin, and that Biden influenced the cancellation of a pipeline from Israel bringing natural gas. Perhaps you recall that President Trump wanted to cancel the next natural gas pipeline into Europe from Russia. And speaking as a gas trader in Europe of my previous lives, I think it's important for everyone to know how many gas pipelines there are, and how much of a control Putin has over this commodity. In 2009 I can recall that Putin didn't want to send gas to travel through Ukraine to get to Western European countries. This was because of a price dispute with Ukraine. But after this energy crisis, it made a huge paradigm change in the way that Western European countries now store gas in underground depleted gas and oil lines. Next, an old Clinton official wants to have Tucker Carlson tried for treason, and you really can't get a better title for an article than that, right? Loony Alexandra Chalupa, a Ukrainian American who used to work in the Clinton administration, goes off on Tucker as another agent of Putin. How many times have we heard that type of hyperbole? RT.com, the Russian television station, has a reporter stating that there will be joint military exercise between Russia and China and also Iran. That is not a good situation. The Babylon Bee has a humorous article about Biden returning to his basement so that he can rest up for next year's press conference. What's a good diversion to humor today? Mollie Hemingway writes about the media's attempt to split the governor of Florida, DeSantis, and Trump. But in reality, Trump has huge majority of votes support. This idea might be sounded as a good soundbite, but in reality DeSantis is not trying to compete with Trump. There's a fun article from Matt Taibbi that teases The Economist, Friedman, and his heavy-handed, metaphor-rich, anti-Putin article. It's a real fun read. ZeroHedge has an article about Bitcoin and Ethereum cryptocurrencies plummeting and dragging others down, because of an article from the Russian central bank speaking about these cryptocurrencies not being useful in the future. And this criticism is probably a trial balloon for regulation against cryptocurrencies within the country. And as a full disclaimer, I have to admit that I bought a very small amount of Bitcoin a few weeks ago. My very first purchase, and it should be clear that I am one of the best market bellwethers around. By that I mean an anti-bellwether, meaning that whenever I buy something, it usually means that with the top. I apologize. There's a Federalist.com article showing a video of a Pennsylvania official admitting that election laws were broken. I think we will see many more of these articles coming out over the next year about all the planning going into the stolen election of 2020. Veteran journalist Ted Koppel has berated the New York Times and Washington Post for displaying obvious opinion articles on their front page rather than putting them in the op-ed section, and for this reason they're showing their political leaning too obviously, which will take away from their seriousness as leading newspapers. That's all for today, and so I wish you a good day and please have a good weekend. Consider advertising with us because this is the new effort and I believe a useful thing for conservative each morning, either as a Rumble or YouTube video or as a podcast early in the morning. The podcast will come out in the next few weeks. Thanks very much. This is Lee saying goodbye.